Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about warmth or competency, the definitions, and why we're even talking about it. Before we get to the content, please be sure to like this video, subscribe so you can get more content in oil and gas and professional development topics, and please be sure to comment on the video below so I can incorporate your feedback into future videos. Please be sure to hit that notification bell when you do subscribe, because I'm trying really hard to upload daily, but I'm going to upload whenever I want. Well, let's get to the content. So let's talk about why are we discussing warmth, competency, why are those are the two diametrically different concepts that we're talking about today. Well, in my MBA, and I'm sure a lot of people have learned this in business school if you've had a business degree or business background, or if you are interested in interpersonal dynamics, you may have heard something related to warmth or kindness, compassion, and then you've also heard about competency, like how well you're good at something. So that's why they're two different concepts that are pitted against each other, and then you end up asking the question, should we start with warmth or should we start with competency? Should we care about one versus the other? Should we just forget about competency and only care about being a good person? The questions end up coming about because they're two very different kinds of concepts or different kinds of words. But I'm here to talk about it, not just because my MBA says so, but just to demonstrate the importance of how both of them are. And it is not necessarily a question of choosing one versus the other. Rather, it's a question of how do you use both of those traits. So I want to do a simple exercise. Think of somebody who you might think is kind or warm, and think of somebody who is very competent. Now ask the question again to someone who is warm. Do you also see them as competent? Now let's ask the question to somebody who's competent. Do you also see them as warm? The reason why I ask this question is sometimes we see one versus the other having one trait more dominant versus the other. And that is the intent of the question, just asking like, who do you consider as warm and who do you consider as competent? Now, hopefully those two people have both of those traits. However, it would just be which one comes up first which trait comes up first in your mind when it comes to that particular person. So then let me ask you another question. Who would you want to work with? The person who is warm or the person who is competent? If you're having a tough time answering this question, this might be a reflection of how you think about yourself. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is that chances are you're most likely to work with somebody that is easier to work with versus somebody that is not just good at their job. Now, you're going to tell me, Yoshi, I need both of these traits in the person, and I don't want to choose one versus the other. The reason why I'm saying that one is chosen versus the other is that there are multiple studies that have been shown that people choose warmth over the competency. So if you consider yourself as a competent but not really warm person, then you may want to ask yourself the question, how do you make that work for you? The answer is that you start with the warmth and then you follow with competency. You need to get to know someone and you need to make them know that you're easy to work with, that you are a good person to work with, that you have integrity, all those social skills. And then once you display your competency, then you're most likely to win that admiration corner. If you display competency, but before you display warmth, there is a sign of jealousy that comes with that. There is actually a matrix, a 2x2 matrix, that talks about how warm you are and how competent you are. If you're just competent and not as warm, people consider you as that's where the fine line between jealousy and admiration is. If you have high warmth and high competency, you're considered as someone that is admirable. Now, if you have low warmth and high competency, that is where people start seeing you as jealous, or some people start seeing you as a jerk. And then if you have low warmth, low competency, you're a societal outcast. But if you have high warmth and low competency, people just see you as a pitiful fool. So those are the four things, and I'll list them into the in the description box, or if I edit this video, I'll put it in the box. I'll put it in the box somewhere in this video. But you'll see what I mean when I say that warmth and competency are very important, and there's a fine line between jealousy and admiration when it comes to that point. So that is the gist of the video, and it's just really answering the question warmth versus competency, and the answer is yes, you need both. However, you start with warmth before you proceed with competency. That way you can gain admiration for more people. As human beings, as social creatures, it's natural for us to be jealous, natural for us to be insecure about things. So this is a way we interact with society and work with other people's insecurities, or work with other people's weaknesses. So starting with warmth and then with competency, then you won't be seen as a threatening person. As someone who has dealt with this quite a bit, I realize that I have shown competency more than warmth. And I'm not saying that, oh, there's so many people jealous of me. That was just an area of improvement that I have for myself, that I can work on relationships and building relationships rather than making them transactional ones. So folks, I hope you learned a thing or two when it comes to warmth versus competency. And as usual, please be sure to like this video, subscribe so you can get more content in oil and gas and professional development topics. And please be sure to comment on the video below so I can incorporate your feedback into future videos. And this is Yoga Shri Pradhan. I also go by Yoshi Pradhan, the Iron Lady, the CGO, and the CEO. And I'm signing off.